As the judge gave the final decision, the Las Vegas federal courtroom was filled with the sound of heavy breathing. Rick Harrison and Austin Chumlee Russell were so shocked that they could not hold up their words any longer. The emotional scene stunned the viewers and showed how strongly people felt about the case. That was a precious moment that TV stars who had been on top for years couldn't even imagine. When the final decision was made public, everything changed in an instant. It was the shocking end to their public lives. But what caused this tense and shocking showdown between the well-known porn stars' characters and the police? This heated court case wasn't just any old lawsuit. It was a fight between image and reality, between well-known TV stars and harsh facts. Here's everything you need to know about the court battle that broke out and caused a big surprise that changed how everyone saw the icons of History Channel. If you want to know more about the porn stars' hidden stories and their tough court case, please like, share, and leave a comment below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any cool videos that come out soon. Let's start the story now. Kneeling, Harrison and Russell are known as two of the most important people in reality TV. They are known for their unique personalities, deep knowledge of history, and unmatched ability to make every episode of Porn Stars, the hit show on the History Channel, feel real. During their 10-year career on TV, they have been in a number of famous situations, such as high-stakes negotiations and historical finds, and memorable exchanges that have kept millions of people around the world glued to their screens. But their legacy goes far beyond their work on TV. They had an impact on the collectibles market, helped make history more popular, and chose to build a tourism empire in Las Vegas on purpose, making them look like business people who turned a family porn shop into a worldwide phenomenon. Harrison's TV career was built on smart business sense, a deep understanding of history, and a strong loyalty to the deal. Even though people were skeptical at first about the idea of the show, he wouldn't let those doubters define him. He instead focused his drive on building up both the gold and silver pawn shop and his TV career. He became one of the most famous business people in America because of this. His acts were praised by critics, which cemented his image as a smart but fair pawn shop worker. Harrison is unique in his ability to teach people about historical items in a way that is both in-depth and easy to understand. This hits home with people of all ages and backgrounds. Their work on TV made them popular, but the businesses they ran behind the scenes showed how business-minded they were. After the show helped them build their personal brand, they went into restaurants, stores, and personal events, where they made millions of dollars, which later became the center of a legal fight that could destroy the empire they worked so hard to build. As a result of Pawn Star's success, both legal companies and alleged criminal groups went in very different directions. After the show started, gold and silver pawn shops went through the roof. They are now one of the most famous places for tourists to visit in Las Vegas, drawing millions of people every year. Their careful approach to sales and well-known brand made them a strong example of the American spirit of entrepreneurship. Federal investigators had problems right away, but the complicated web of transactions involving many states and businesses caused them a lot of trouble. Eventually, a small piece of final proof came to light. There was a big difference between how business was done in public and what was said to be going on in secret, which led to problems that would grow over time. Harrison told reporters a lot during the first investigation. "We built this business on knowledge and fair deals. But being careful makes you stronger. I was determined to fully participate, even though the charges didn't seem to have anything to do with our work." This drive led to a methodical defense that became more and more public. Many people who were the subject of government investigations may have kept quiet about everything, but Harrison and Russell were very open about everything and maintained their innocence throughout the process. People felt sorry for them when they talked about how the investigation had affected their business at press appearances. They were seen as victims of overzealous prosecution. As both popular support and mounting evidence hit new highs in the early 2020s, there was a clear contrast between the two. Millions of people joined campaigns saying they were innocent, while prosecutors quietly gathered financial records that showed growing concerns about the idea of a sophisticated criminal operation running behind the real pawn shop business. But Harrison and Russell had a hard time with the growing legal threat, threatening to reveal what they say are their operating problem. In response, their legal team came up with tactics that got more complicated. Harrison said in a rare honest interview that facing accusations that go against our public image has been heartbreaking. "There was only one thing we could do, be honest and open. We thought that would be enough for the public. The defense was very different from the offense, which was becoming more focused. By 2022, there was a huge difference between their public image and the thing they were accused of doing. Even though their followers still thought they were innocent, federal prosecutors had built a case against them that involved more than 15 million illegal transactions and complex money laundering schemes that used the pawn shop. This case would soon be made public in the most shocking way possible. After years of investigations, this led to criminal charges in the end. During an audit of previously sealed financial records in 2022 by forensic accountant Thomas Richards, these complex transaction patterns in their business accounts were found. It is very clear that people are trying to move illegal money through legal business channels that are meant to hide where the money came from. Richards talked about it at a quickly spreading congressional meeting with experts on financial crime. As police looked into the complicated web of transactions involving the pawn shop and several fake companies, the financial records became a central focus of their work. A week later, officials released papers that showed the operation had probably laundered around $15.7 million using complex systems meant to hide activities that had been going on for years. These weren't just simple mistakes in the books. The lead prosecutor told the jury that these buildings had to be carefully planned and cared for over many years. Jones and Harrison both played important parts. As the proof grew, it seemed to point to a possible financial crime scheme, which was the last piece in the puzzle. Within weeks, federal authorities put together a case and charged Harrison and Russell with many crimes, such as conspiracy to launder money and extortion. If they are found guilty of all charges, they could face life in prison. It wasn't just money that was being charged. They were a major threat to their public image as honest business owners who knew what they were doing and were fair with everyone, which had made them TV stars. The lawsuits sent shockwaves through the entertainment business. Some experts say this could be the most important case ever involving reality TV stars. Surprising information about the accused criminal enterprise that operated behind the pawn shop was found in court records. Internal messages from 2018 showed that a lot of employees had actually warned about the risk of being found out, but they made a smart choice because they were worried about keeping up their public image. One secret document said, "The current structure carries an unacceptable risk of detection." It suggested that the structure be changed right away, before any more transactions were made. Harrison and Russell made the first day of the trial what it was when they walked into court. It was clear that financial inspectors were watching them all the time, and government lawyers were putting together stacks of financial records in front of them. The famous TV hosts, who used to entertain millions of people, were now facing the legal consequences they had been avoiding for a long time. Your Honor, this case is about a large-scale, well-planned scheme to hide money. As part of their careful probe, they pretended to be a legitimate business while handling millions of dollars in illegal money. When newly found financial records were shown in court, the trial quickly became tense. Authorities saw Harrison firmly shaking his head and sometimes leaning in to whisper to his lawyer when very bad evidence was shown. During the tense questioning process, Russell looked more and more upset as the prosecution talked about his alleged part. "Agent Miller, did you say in your statement that Mr. Harrison personally oversaw these deals?" What did the lawyer ask? All of the important papers had his name on them. Investigators from the FBI gave a sure answer, and these signatures made it possible to set up shell companies that were meant to hide where the money came from. The courtroom became very tense when people talked about when the supposed operations happened. He said that the complexity of these financial systems suggested that they were done on purpose, but he didn't ask the prosecutor if they needed to be planned out and kept up with by a lot of people. The expert gave a strong answer. Harrison looked tense and adjusted his glasses. The judge told everyone to be polite in the hall. Financial experts said that the alleged money laundering plan was very complicated. The main reason these buildings were made was to hide where the money came from. Dr. Eleanor Jenkins, a forensic accountant from Georgetown University, spoke in court. The many levels of deals were not necessary for business reasons. The defense was mostly about the formal parts of their business. They said they had depended on professional advisors and had no intention to commit a crime, as well as the possible misunderstandings of the complicated financial arrangements. Their lawyer said, "My client has built a legitimate business empire that employs dozens of people." He or she said that these financial structures were indirectly suggested by experts they trusted. Fans watched with great excitement as the trial came to a close. This wasn't just a legal fight. It would also mean the end of well-known TV stars whose popularity had been built on being real and knowledgeable. The most important part of the hearing was financial forensics, where accountants tracked money through years of transactions. It was even more shocking to see how much money was being moved. With a total of about $15.7 million being moved through complicated webs of shell companies, which cost about $2.3 million to run, and advanced accounting systems that were made to hide this operation, which cost about $1.8 million to run. On the last day, fans crowded into the courtroom. Some were holding porn stars memorabilia, while others wore shirts with the show's name on them. As Judge Eleanor Blackwood got ready to hand down her decision in the case of the United States vs. Harrison and Russell, after 8 weeks of evidence, the air was charged with electricity. Leave a comment with the number 1 if this story surprises you. Leave a comment with the number 0 if not. Right now, let's keep reading this story. At the start of this court session, the judge carefully looked over the evidence about the defendant's money business dealings and acts over the last 7 years. Harrison and Russell were leaned forward with their hands clenched in front of them. The room was so quiet that you could hear the papers moving. The judge went on to say that there was strong proof that the defendants used complex financial structures to launder money on a regular basis, especially when setting up and running shell companies that are meant to hide where the illegal money came from. Harrison's eyes got bigger, Russell looked very pale, and their families looked at each other with worry in their eyes. They found both of the accused guilty of all charges. The judge was sure that the maximum sentence would be given because of the size and complexity of the operation and the public's trust in the defendants' roles. It was clear what the judge said. Harrison and Russell would each get a life sentence with the chance of parole after 25 years. Any assets they used for illegal operations would also be taken away. The court gave both of the defendants life sentences in prison with the chance of parole after 25 years. The judge also said that all assets linked to these illegal actions would be taken by the US government. They were hit hard by reality after 10 years of building their TV empire and becoming icons of historical knowledge and business energy. They had never thought this moment would happen. Instead, the truth of a life sentence, which was the exact opposite of how they had carefully crafted their public image, felt like the last episode of a TV show. No one was ready for it. The judge kept reading the full decision. Harrison's face turned pale, and Russell's forehead started to get sweaty. The defendants also had to pay back everything they had stolen, and the noise in their ears made the judge's words hard to hear. When the room started to spin, their lawyers put their hand on their arm to let them know something was wrong, but it wasn't enough. The famous TV stars, who had entertained millions of people, now had to face the legal consequences they had been avoiding for so long. Your Honor, this case is about a large-scale, well-planned scheme to hide money. The courtroom shook. The reality TV stars, who used to be proud of how calm they were, are now passed out in front of the judges and the world. A doctor in the courtroom yelled through the crowd, "They are having severe physical reactions. Allow them to be. Please call the emergency services." As medical workers rushed in, photographers caught the scene that would make entertainment news around the world. Rick Harrison and Chumlee, two well-known characters from Pawn Stars, were taken away on stretchers. The emotional weight of losing in court had finally caught up with them. Outside of court, family members were seen quickly comforting each other. The executives of History Channel stood still and silent, refusing to say anything as they were led away by security. The medical drama quickly took priority over the court decision. Fans shared news and words of support on entertainment websites and social media sites using hashtags like Pawn Stars Justice and Free Rick and Chum. Harrison put out a statement through his lawyer 3 days later. He still looked pale, but he was calmer. "We maintain our innocence and will appeal this decision using all available means," he wrote with the determination that he is known for. In the end, the truth will be seen. The public story seems to have changed in a basic way because of health concerns. In a surprising turn of events, some former business partners spoke out against the decision. An unnamed person said that many people in Las Vegas thought the sentences were too harsh. Russell's next words were defiant. even though official representatives wouldn't say anything about the chance of an appeal or the specific legal strategies. He told his lawyer that this fight is not over yet. There is a lot of trouble in our lives, but we still believe in the appeals process and the truth. There was a lot of talk in the showbiz world about what could happen next. A seasoned director said that this case has changed the way reality TV is made. The difference between how they are seen by the public and these accusations makes me wonder about the truth in this genre. People in the media said that both men seemed ready for a long appeals process. There were a lot of conspiracy ideas and other possible explanations on fan forums right away, even though lawyers warned that appeals have a lot of problems. When asked directly about their clients passing out in court, the lawyers gave a calm answer. The men's body language shows how shocked they were that they were being punished unfairly. We are still determined to use the appeals process to show that they are innocent. The court case turned into something unexpected, a possible real-life crime story instead of a reality TV plan. Even though the stars were found guilty, interest in porn stars stayed high, and streaming services reported more viewers. This was because people watched old episodes again to find hidden hints about the double lives of fans who had been following their careers for years. The case could teach us a lot about the big difference between TV characters and real people. There were more people than just guys who lost it when the entertainment world fell apart. But it could be the start of a legal case that will show how well their carefully designed public image holds up in the most important test. Does the shocking sentence for the porn stars bother you? This story is interesting. If you want to learn more about the porn stars and their tough court case, please like the movie, share it with your friends, and leave a comment below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any cool videos that come out soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.